when we talk about live, large-scale events, how do you prepare for those?
Yeah, that's interesting. We do quite a few very large scale events, and similar ones to probably the same ones that Ruben's talking about. What we see is preparation is absolutely paramount. If you're going to be going to a global audience and doing a very large scale sporting event, you've got to be like 200% sure everything's going to work. So you need that multi CDN, but you need all the switching to work, and don't use simple DNS switching. You've got to have sophisticated tools that actually can do things very quickly, make decisions, and use the data that's available. Now, one of the things that I've seen that's helping these being successful is making sure you've got lots of redundancy. So that's what multi-CDN, but it's not just the multi-CDN. You've got to have multiple paths from, you've got to have multiple encoders, multiple paths to origin shields, all the way through. You've got to have redundancy, and you've got to monitor all of that. But I think on the biggest events, the two most important things actually are making sure you've really tested it. So, if you're going to do a big Super Bowl or something like that, you really have to test every scenario. So you actually have to force everything to fail to make sure that all of those scenarios that you put in place are actually going to work. And you have to have the run books effectively to make it. I mean, it's a serious operational activity. And I think the other thing that I've noticed more recently, some of the bigger companies are really taking seriously, because there's huge teams working on this, and there's lots of vendors associated with it. So having very clearly laid out decision-making pathways. So if this, scenario A happens, who is the person that makes the decision to say, right, we're going to cut that CDN out, or we're going to do this, or we're going to change that, or whatever. When you're running a very large sporting event, you don't have time to think about, what do you think? What do you think? No, someone has got to be designated as the right person to make that decision. So I found the ones where those sort of things are all done beforehand, all prepared beforehand. That's what makes those events successful.